Hi, I'm Rudhirat, and welcome to Three Echoes by Marina R. Now, this has the crime, the fast paced, it's got all that goodness. Okay, and I love the fact that it has been set right here in South Africa. It's set in KZN, and that's not something that you find very often. Oh, I mean, we should change that, but nonetheless, Three Echoes. It's beautifully written. It has you on the edge of your seat, wanting to know what happens next. But don't take my word for it. You should believe Marina. Chapter 22, Monday, 7th December. Sarah, don't go that way again. Please. Grant closed the fridge with too much force. The condiments shelves rattled and the door swung open. He didn't notice. Sarah stepped up and pressed it shut. With another lockdown looming, there's all sorts of weird tensions around at the moment, he finished. Sarah had a C-section and a couple of minor gynae classes scheduled for that afternoon, after a morning of consulting. But first off, a ward round at Meadowvale. So much to squeeze into the day, and now she was supposed to take the long way around. Grant, I wasn't in any danger. And what if I hadn't been there? What would have happened to that poor woman? Grant had no answer. He took a bite of apple, picked up his laptop bag, and headed for the front door. Tandy is at the gate, he called back. I've opened up for her. I'll see you in theatre later? Sarah nodded. Monday morning, and she had to return to work as if nothing had happened, as if she hadn't rescued a woman from a witch hunt. Back once more in the Honda, Saturday suffused the air around her. Sarah clambered from the car and waited with the doors open for several breaths before trying again. The reek of paraffin and terror in the CRV remained overwhelming, cloying. Sarah drove with her front windows down and the fan on full blast. Thin morning mist crept in, only to swirl straight out again. When the dashboard clock hit 7:45, she dialed the number for her rooms. Mallory answered on the second ring. Good morning, goeiemorgen, sawubona, the receptionist said brightly. Dr. Bushley and Pinar's rooms. Mallory, it's me. Hello? Sarah closed the windows and switched the fan to low. It's me, she repeated. I'm on my way to do rounds at Meadowvale. Anything urgent that side? No, all under control. 2 of our patients delivered with Dr. Pinar on Saturday. Oh, who was that? Doc and Sarah alternated weekend calls. She would cover the next one. Lucy Murray and Hazel Nguenia. NBDs? Yes, both. Okay, I'll pop into the ward later to see them before they get discharged. Any messages? A pile of results to relay to patients and a call from the ex-deans. A knot of tension tightened in her gut. The ex-deans and their surrogacy issue. What was their decision? If it was termination, Sarah might not be able to bring herself to perform it. Not the way she was feeling right now. She shook her head. Easy to say, but if she had Nikisiwe Dolo sitting face to face with her, would she be able to turn the young woman away? I'll call them after I've finished at Meadowvale, she decided. Apart from the red and yellow striped municipal ambulance that idled at the entrance, only 2 other cars claimed bays at the clinic's dusty parking lot. There was never any trouble finding a spot to park at Meadowvale. Patients arrived by taxi or ambulance, on the back of a bakkie or on foot. Few people in the area could afford a vehicle of their own. The canopy of a dirty old model Isuzu popped open and Aidan Andrews climbed out, tucking in his shirt. Aidan? Were you sleeping in there? Sarah asked. The MO looked at her wide-eyed and his cheeks reddened. The on-call rooms here are, noisy, he said, but, I guess maybe you don't know, seeing as you don't have to do calls here. Aiden's voice dwindled to a murmur and his gaze drifted to a spot over her left shoulder. Sarah glanced in that direction. Nothing lurked behind her except the triple note refrain from off a red-chested cuckoo. Bit me throw, bit me throw, bit me throw. Right, well, I must go in. Get on with the ward round. Coming? Andrews continued to stare, then, without any alteration of expression, lifted the Isuzu's remote and pressed the lock. Another beep sounded as she walked towards the sprawling building, then once more as Sarah reached the staff entrance. Beep, beep, beep. 1, 2, 3. Bit me fro persisted in her head as she stepped inside the clinic. Up ahead, the head of the neonatal unit rushed down the passage. A tuft of dark hair and waxy limb protruded from the crook of his arm. Moses? Croaked from Sarah's throat. Moses! She called louder. The pediatrician stopped, turned. She caught up. What Sarah imagined and what she actually saw took a few seconds to reconcile into one in her brain. Moses offered a sheepish smile. One of my patients left it behind, he explained. I was trying to catch them before they left. These children have so little, It's probably their only toy. Right, Sarah agreed, eyes still glued to the plastic figure cradled on his forearm. Force of habit, Moses chuckled and switched his hold to around the doll's waist. He tilted his arm and glanced at his wrist. I wish I could set my watch by your arrival. 7:55 on the dot. I'm a slave to my schedule, Sarah said. How are things in NICU? Better. Quiet, Moses said. That baby's ready for discharge. The crisis seems to have passed. Good. That's a relief. With a nod, the pediatrician started to move away. A muted scream pealed down the passage, followed by shrieks and shouts. What now? Moses spun back. Together, they sprinted towards the uproar. Sarah thrust open the door. Gunshots burst over the raised voices. Moses yanked her away from the doorway. A beat of silence, then angry shots and accusations swarmed through the group. Sarah and Moses edged forward. Outside the NICU, 3 new holes in the yellowed ceiling board drizzled dust. The ward's cleaner sat on the grubby floor, covering her head with her hands, wailing. What happened? Moses asked the security guard hovering over her. The guard holstered his gun and gestured at a nearby laundry trolley lying on its side, spilling baby blankets and soiled sheets. Tried to smuggle a baby out. A gaggle of mothers closed in on the cleaner, faces identical masks of rage. Keening, the accused bum shuffled away from the onslaught. Okay, Moses said. Arms wide, doll dangling in his grip, he corralled the maternal wrath. Let the police deal with this, please. The cleaner's lamentations rose in pitch as the guard pulled her to her feet and marched her down the passage. Sarah's phone rang. Mallory? Shivana Mudley's been admitted. She's bleeding. Right, Sarah stammered. Have maternity assess her. I'll wrap up here as quickly as I can. Marina has a brilliant way of writing that puts you in the middle of the action, of the scenes that are occurring. I cannot falter in her writing. I would hope that you'd pick up the echoes and give it a go.